Good evening. Welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight's stories include: I spoke with Terry Quicsherd about the trip planned for the minor hockey teams. Variety shows were held at the high school and at the elementary school on Friday. SJCH had its frolic day on Thursday. Lioness served teach seniors on Wednesday. The Corp report, and more. So please stay tuned. As most of you are probably aware by now, the proceeds from the Lioness TV bingo scheduled for Wednesday night will go to the Minor Hockey League. I spoke to Terry Quicsherd to find out about their upcoming trip to St. George's. Terry, I understand that the Lioness bingo scheduled for Wednesday night, the money raised will be going towards the Minor Hockey League. Can you tell us what the Minor Hockey League will be using this money for?
We plan on a trip for all minor hockey players on March the 30th. Plan on going to St. George's, and each division from Athlone to Pee-wee to Bantam to midgets are planning on having the game in there that day, and that's what we sort of need the money to help finance the cost of going in there, to pay for the bus and go in and come back.
Okay, how many boys will be going on the trip?
As of right now, we got 66 hockey players, and we have 24 parents planning on going.
Okay. So do you have any idea how much it's going to cost you for the bus?
Well, the bus is going to cost us $400. And that's in and out, so it's a big expense. And wouldn't for the Lioness give us their TV bingo, I don't think it'd be possible for us to even be able to make this trip worthwhile or successful anyway.
Okay, so what age range does this cover?
This covers from age 5 to 18.
You were leaving on the 30th of March. What time will you be leaving?
We'll be leaving from the community centre at 7 o'clock in the morning.
So what time?
And all players should be there 15 to 20 minutes before, because we have arranged to get their equipment put on the bus and everyone's seated to make sure who is on the bus so we can take a head count for when we come back.
Okay, so will you be coming back the same day, or?
Yeah, we should be leaving to come back from St. George's around 5 or 5:30 that evening, if everything goes well.
Okay, well, we hope you do good, and if all goes well, then we will be in there to cover.
And I'd just like to thank the Lioness for giving us their bingo and you for doing the interview.
Okay, well, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
The Lioness catered to the Jolly Seniors on Wednesday. The Lioness awarded prizes to the winners of the card games. Then they were treated to some sandwiches and cookies, as well as tea and coffee, which was served by the Lioness.
Hello, visit and have a little something to say to you now. Not that one. Give me the back one.
I'm going to read you what seniors are worth. We are worth a fortune, with silver in our hair, gold in our teeth, stones in our kidneys, lead in our feet, and gas in our stomachs. I have become a little older since I saw you last, and a few changes have come into my life. Frankly, I have become a flirtatious old girl. I am seeing 5 gentlemen every day. As soon as I wake up, willpower helps me out a bit. Then I go to see John. Next, Cherry Horse comes along, and when he is there, he takes a lot of my time and attention. When he leaves, arthritis shows up and stops the rest of the day. He doesn't like to stay in one place very long, so he takes me from joint to joint. After such a busy day, I'm really tired and glad to go to bed with Ben Gay. What a life! Oh, yes, I'm also flirting with Alzheimer's. The preacher came to call the other day. He said that at my age, I should be thinking of the hereafter. I told him, oh, I do all the time. No matter where I am, in the parlor, upstairs, in the kitchen, or down in the basement, I ask myself, now what am I hereafter?
Then Lioness member Joan Ball called bingo for the seniors and Mary Jan.
And 39.
Thursday was Frolic Day for the students at St. John's Central High. The students of St. John's Central High gathered on 3 ponds on Thursday afternoon instead of going to school, where they held their Frolic Day. They had various events such as tug-a-teacher, tug-of-war, and soccer. Students at St. John's Central High held a variety show on Friday afternoon. The variety show had several different skits, as well as dance numbers, there was also some live performers. Videos, and of course no variety show would be complete without the Lolly Awards.
This thing was walking staff and was not pledged to be included.
The nominees for This Mustache, Ellen Parsons, Maurice Sims, and we don't have one, but he accidentally shaved it off. And Darren Porter. And the winner of that was Darren Porter.
Students that please wear that they are part of our school. On behalf of the school, I would like for the following people to come forward Doing Good, and Jane Davis.
The variety show will be shown in its entirety at a later date. The elementary students at AJ Matthews also had a variety show on Friday afternoon. The students at AJ Matthews Elementary also provided entertainment with a variety show. This show will be shown in its entirety at a later date.
We would like to welcome you purveyors of style to today's fashion show. We hope you find the ideal outfit that suits your taste. Now we are ready to begin. First, we have Travis Duncan. You in fashion, take careful note of Travis's outfit. Travis is modeling brand check pants. The pants have wide legs and fashionable cuffs. Travis is wearing a blue striped shirt with a coordinating tie. The jacket is navy blue, an ideal outfit for taking some lucky girl out to dinner and a movie. Thank you, Travis. Next we have Jeanette. Jeanette's wearing a knee-length faded jean skirt and a peach color tie. She has coordinated this with a jean jacket. The jean jacket has epaulets, which give it a chic military look, which is popular today. This is just the outfit to wear to a rock concert or a disco. Thank you, Jeanette. Our next model is Siobhan Moore. Siobhan is modeling a jean skirt with a red t-shirt. She has accessorized with red and white cowboy boots. Red socks and white cowboy boots. This outfit is great for hanging out at a video cage on Friday night. Thank you, Siobhan. Next we have Jody Sanders. Jody is wearing a knee-length green beige dress made of cotton. The dress has a hem that adds up to full bow. Jody has accessorized her dress with a white and white knee top and black pants. It is
some of you are laughing. Try not to laugh. Keep your applause and laugh until at the end if you can, so everybody can hear what's being said. Thank you.
Our next model is Rhonda Green. Here are Carolyn Perkins and Angelina Bowles. Carolyn and Angelina look like girls headed to a great party. Both girls are wearing denim skirts. Carolyn has chosen a white long-sleeve cotton shirt to wear with her skirt. Angelina is wearing a similar top in black. Both girls have highlighted their outfits with white boots. Thank you, Carolyn and Angelina. Our next model is Rhonda Green. Rhonda is modeling a long yellow cotton gown, topped by a matching short jacket. She is an ideal outfit. It's an ideal outfit for those summer evenings when you get invited to dinner at special restaurants or the theater. Next is Amanda Young. Amanda looks very chic in an elegant.
Tune in next week when both variety shows will be shown in their entirety. The date and time will be announced on Channel 10. The students at AJ Matthews had a museum set up in the library at their school on Thursday and Friday for anyone who wanted to view it. This is just a quick run-through of some of the items that were displayed at the museum. To view all of the items, it probably would have taken several hours because there were numerous pictures, old books, old newspapers, etc. Hopefully, in the not-so-distant future, Burgeo will have a permanent museum. Meanwhile, the museum at AJ Matthews Elementary was really worth going to see. The grade 6 students seem to really enjoy going through all the old pictures. The kindergarten students seem fascinated by the boats in the bottles, the old jugs, as well as pictures. At 7 a.m. on Saturday morning, 83 skidooers left Burgeo, headed for Grand Bruit on the 3rd annual Burgeo Lions snowmobile trip. While registration was going on at the community center, breakfast was being served to anyone who wanted it. Then the skidooers started to line up as we prepared to leave.
They're outboard people without board ways, but there's nowhere to use them, and now it's too late. And they curse on the one who uttered the phrase, resettlement now, why resettlement pays. He sits on the dock and he looks across the bay and watches his memories as they pass on the waves. And he wonders what cards fate might have dealt if he told those officials to go straight to hell. 'Cause you can't take a man from the soil where he grew, lest you you know how to solace his mind when you do. And for God's sake, don't say how much greener's the grass, 'cause those uprooted people saw it weather too fast. You can launch a house easy and tow it away, but the home doesn't move, it continues to stay. And the dollars you make, sure they'll keep you alive, but they won't soothe the heart and they can't ease the mind. He spits on the plank and the memories roll. The spring sun is shining, there's a lop in the cove, and the shoreline is dotted with lobster pot boys, but his boat's full of weeds and there's tears in his eyes. Don't take a man from the life that he knows and tear up his roots and expect him to grow. 'Cause if he's unwillingly forced to decide, he'll move without leaving and never arrive. Don't take a man from the life that he knows and tear up his roots and expect him to grow. And for God's sake, don't say how much greener's the grass, 'cause those uprooted people saw it weather too fast. Those uprooted people saw it weather too fast. Collected today at Grand Bruit, and there's some more money not in. I think we're looking at around $6,000, which is a very successful project. There's one more thing. There's one more thing. I don't know who or where you got the forecast for today, but I'm sure it was a good source. And I certainly commend the committee.
The usual, gets it from the old.
I would certainly like to commend the committee for making the decision to go ahead with this trip today. It was certainly the right decision. And it turned out to be a great day, and I'm sure a day made for this trip. So thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to draw for the prizes this year. I don't feel very comfortable up here, but I wanted Frank to do it because I stutters, but anyway, we got a total of 75 draws to make. There were 83 round trips, so I think most people probably get some.
Fix the mic, buddy.
Next thing you want me to sing a song. Okay.
Don't tell you don't want one band.
No. Okay, we'll save the, I guess, bits for last. So we'll start off with the, we got 72 draws for things that were donated for everyone that got $10 and over. This one is for people that had pledges of $25 and over, and the prize is a weekend at the Holiday Inn in Gander, donated by the Holiday Inn in And the winner is Dave Cooper. People raise $50 or more, and the draw is for a pair of skidoo mitts donated by Riss.
That old Bear Jones is that. Keep the new ones for yourself.
And the winner is Audra Hand. Okay, this one is for all riders, and it's drawing for a skidoo suit that was donated by Hands Pro Hardware. So I guess the word is lucky thing.
Brian Ingram.
Brian Ingram. That's all the draws, but we do have first, second, and third prize, third place prizes. First prize for most pledges is a floater jacket donated by Virgil Food Center. Second prize is a pair of skidoo boots donated by Midtown. And third prize is a $50 gas certificate donated by Virgil Food Center. The person raising the third largest amount, I guess we'll start with number 3. The amount was $239, and that's Biddy Devon.
Hey.
The gas certificate donated by Virgin Food Center. Second prize for the skidoo boots donated by Midtown. He got pledges of $405, and that's Michael Hinks. And last but not least, for the floater jacket that was donated by the Virgin Food Center, the person raising the most pledges was Bob Hinks, and he's got pledges totaling $1,040.
The Lioness will be having a TV bingo on Wednesday, March 13th at 7 p.m. Proceeds from this bingo will go to the Minor Hockey League to offset travel expenses. Cards are $1 each, or 6 for $5, and are available in most stores or from any minor hockey player. Please support your Minor Hockey League and play TV bingo. Canada Employment Outreach would like to remind all businesses and organizations that the deadline to apply for a student program for this summer is March 15th, 1991. If you're considering applying, please take the time to do it now, and if you need help, please call the outreach office at 886-3389. I know March is a strange time to start talking about softball, but softball is in the news tonight, more specifically, men's softball. As many of you may already know, our men's softball team had a very successful year last year, winning tournaments in Piccadilly, Pasadena, and Burgeo. In provincial competition last year, they played 31 games and lost only 3. Because of this successful record and their showing at the All-Newfoundland Slow Pitch Tournament in Grand Falls, they have been selected as one of 4 teams to represent Newfoundland at the Canadian National Tournament in Moncton, New Brunswick in August of this year. This will be a 4-day tournament with between 50 and 60 teams competing. Needless to say, this tournament will cost a fair bit of money, most of which will be paid by the players themselves. However, to offset some of the major costs of registration and purchasing of uniforms, they're having a cold plate takeout on March 24th. They need the support of the entire community. Anyone wishing to order cold plates may contact any of the team members. They are Kenny Aird, Chris Domney, Max Green, Ed Batcher, George Ball, Dennis Courtney, Shannon Barter, Lou Batcher, Jim Tucker, Eugene Bungay, Gary Tucker, and Max Pink. Now over to Corporal White with the Corp report.
Good evening, viewers. This telecast is prepared for Sunday, March the 10th. On the 4th of March, Judge Roach attended Ramia and Burgeo for provincial court. Court in Ramia was at 11 a.m. and at that time, Kerry Hatcher appeared in court and was convicted of Section 12(1) of the Migratory Bird Convention Act, which was hunting TWIRs with an unplugged shotgun. And he was fined $200 and in default 15 days in jail. There were a number of young offenders convicted of driving a motor vehicle without a driver's license. And Gary Scott was convicted of allowing an unlicensed driver to operate a motor vehicle. A male young offender of Ramia was charged with assault, for which he received a fine of $150 and probation for 1 year in order to do 40 hours community service work. Another young offender, a male from Ramia, was convicted of 3 charges of theft. Actually, it was a theft of Christmas tree lights from outside premises, and he was fined $75 and placed on probation for 6 months in order to do 30 hours community service work in Ramia. There were 12 persons in Ramia convicted under the Newfoundland Dog Act for having their dogs running at large. Those people were fined $100, and in default of payment, they were to serve 7 days in jail. One person was fined $25 under the Dog Act. That person had destroyed her dog. Court was held in Burgeo at 1:30 p.m. on the 4th of March. At that time, Brian Han appeared in provincial court. He was charged with 5 charges. 1 charge of assault causing bodily harm, for which he elected trial by provincial court. He pled guilty to that particular charge, and he was convicted. However, he was remanded in custody until the 29th of April at 3 p.m. for the court to receive a pre-sentence report, and sentencing on that matter will be on the 29th of April. He also pled not guilty to a charge of assault on a female, and that particular charge was withdrawn by the Crown at that time. He pled guilty to a theft of beer, and also to a breach of undertaking, and also to an attempted breach of an undertaking. He was convicted on all these charges, and sentencing will be heard on the 29th of April on the judge's next appearance date here. Brad Young appeared in court, charged with a number of charges. He was charged with being unlawfully in a dwelling house. At that time, he elected trial by Supreme Court. That matter has been set over for a preliminary inquiry for the 29th of April at 3 p.m. He entered not guilty pleas on 2 charges of assault and on 3 charges of a breach of probation. These charges will be heard at a trial on the 29th of April at 3 p.m. Michael Sims was convicted of hunting a protected species of birds under the Migratory Bird Convention Act. He was fined $300, in default 20 days. A number of exhibits were seized at that time, including shells and guns, and all the exhibits were, as requested by the Crown, are to be turned back over to Mr. Sims. Brian Warren of Grey River was convicted of 2 charges. 1 charge of break, enter, and theft into Joshua Rose's store in Grey River. At that time, he elected trial by provincial court, and he pled guilty. He was given a suspended sentence and 18 months probation, and one of the number of conditions of his probation was to perform 30 hours community service work in Grey River. He was also charged with supplying liquor to minors. At that time, he was fined $125 or in default to serve 7 days in jail. Bradley Ricketts was convicted of a charge of theft of automobile. He was fined $500, and in default of paying the fine, he is to serve 30 days in Her Majesty's Penitentiary. Paul Swift appeared on 4 charges. One charge of assault as a result of a disturbance caused at the teenage dance in Burgeo some time ago. He pled guilty to all of the 4 charges. On the assault charge, he was sentenced to serve 30 days in Her Majesty's Penitentiary and also placed on probation for 18 months with a number of conditions. He also pled guilty to a breach of probation, for which he was sentenced to serve 30 days in Her Majesty's Penitentiary. Paul Swift was also convicted of damage to property as a result of breaking a window out of a motor vehicle, and he was sentenced to serve 30 days in jail for that offense. And he also pled guilty to another breach of probation, for which he is to serve 30 days in jail. In total, he serves 60 days in jail. Jerry Courtney and Clayton Courtney were both convicted of 2 charges under the Wildlife Act for taking small game during closed season, the small game being Arctic hare and ptarmigan. All the exhibits were ordered forfeited to the Crown, and they were fined $125 and in default of payment 7 days in jail on each charge. A traffic ticket was withdrawn against Dennis MacDonald as a result of the police being unable to have a witness in court. Constable Jesty was unable to give evidence at that time as he was in Ramia. There were 4 young offenders charged with operating a snowmobile or all-terrain vehicles on the highway. Each of these young offenders all pled guilty. They were fined $75 and given 3 months to pay the fine. There was one young offender charged with having his dog running at large, running loose in the provincial park, and he was fined $100, and he was given 3 months to pay that fine. Ivan Ingram and Clarence MacDonald Jr. were charged with having their dogs running at large, and they were fined $100 and in default of payment to serve 7 days in jail. Daphne Marsden was convicted of Section 12.1 of the All-Terrain Vehicle Regulations. She was fined $100 in default 7 days in jail for riding the vehicle on the highway. As well, Howard Walsh was convicted of Section 12.1 of the All-Terrain Vehicle Regulations for operating his snowmobile on the highway, and he was fined $100 and in default of payment 7 days in jail. Corey Parsons was convicted of operating his snowmobile on the highway, and he was fined $100 in default of payment 7 days in jail, and he was given 30 days to pay his fine as well. That concludes the court report. However, I have been advised that a number of inquiries have been made at the BBS office, and there appears to be some concern respecting the lotteries permits. A number of queries have been received at the BBS office as to why some persons are allowed to obtain lottery licenses or lottery permits for bingos and other fundraising ventures. However, I should point out that it is not the business of the Burgeo Broadcasting System to make those decisions. When somebody comes to the Burgeo Broadcasting to put off a bingo, then they routinely check with our office to see that the person requesting, or the club or organization requesting the bingo has a lottery license permit. Now, I'll quote here from the guidelines of the lottery control program and explain a little further after I quote directly from their policies. To quote directly from Mr. H.A. Vivian, the director of the licensing division of the Department of Justice, he states that the lotteries control program is based on the principle that raising of finances through lotteries is an area reserved solely for charitable or religious purposes. Now, under the extended definition of charitable, bona fide amateur sport bodies are nevertheless recognized. A lottery's permit or license is issued to these groups only under the conditions that the related funds which are raised are utilized to underwrite the cost of travel or awards in provincial and national competitions. Such groups are not authorized to utilize lottery funds for the direct benefit of the dart players or for social amenities. Unquote. That is a direct quote from the lottery control program. What that briefly means is that lottery licenses are not granted to any organization unless they are authorized under the program, or to any people or groups that intend to use the money that they raise for the direct benefit of themselves. In other words, to answer maybe some of the questions, I think a lot of questions are being asked by the high school graduation people, why they aren't permitted to have a bingo. Maybe I should point out that in the instance of the graduating class, the money is being raised for the direct benefit of the graduation class and would or could be used for social amenities, which in actual fact would be to raise funds for a party or a graduation celebrations. So this is why a graduating class is not granted a lottery permit or a lottery license. I hope this clears up a lot of the concerns that have been expressed through the Burgeo Broadcasting System, and if you have any questions in this regard, our office is only too pleased to point out the guidelines under this program. So I would like to point out that if you have any questions, they should be directed to our office and not to the Burgeo Broadcasting System, because they are authorized only to permit people to operate bingos who have been issued licenses. And our office is the office that issues the licenses and not the Burgeo Broadcasting System. And thank you very much for watching tonight. Good night.
Well, that's it for this week. Special thanks to this week's volunteers. On behalf of BBS and the BBS volunteers, I'm Dave Cooper. Have a great week. Good night.